she does not fear what is coming because she has confidence in the Lord. Confidence in her faith, confidence in knowing. And how do you develop confidence? By experience. Now look over the experiences you've had in your life where you were fearful and everything worked out for you. Hey y'all, it's your girl Sunray coming at you guys with a new video. And in today's video, I just very briefly wanted to talk to you guys about faith over fear. So my testimony is that I lived in fear all of my life. And what do I mean by all of my life? Like, I was a very fearful person, meaning I was confident. Like, I was able to push myself most times through that fear, but there's a different type of peace and joy that comes to your life when you're grounded in faith. And so, for example, I could be fearful about taking an exam. I could be fearful about not being able to pay my rent. I could be fearful about if I would have a job the next week, whatever the case may be, right? But one thing that I've been shown by God is that through all of those fearful moments, once whatever I was fearing, I overcame that, I would look back and say, oh, I ain't had nothing to worry about anyways. Now, this has happened my entire life, like literally my entire life, where I'll be over fearful of something and then it wouldn't even turn out that way. And it didn't matter because the next time something came up that would provoke fear in me, what would I do? I would resort to being fearful. And again, the same thing would happen. The situation would pass and it's not as bad as I thought it would be, and I'll be saved and something will come up, blah, 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 right? So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. So last year, I had made a decision to stop living my life in fear and to start walking in faith. And when I did that, y'all, the amount of peace and joy that overcame me was like, what? It's like, oh, life is not even that bad. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to go through financial hardships. We may suffer physically, emotionally, whatever the case may be. But having faith, believing that things will get better, although it doesn't appear that it will, I used to think that was like a cover-up for people not dealing with their emotions. But God has shown me that having faith is having not just a belief that things will get better, but also too having such a trusting energy in a higher power. But also, I'm a scientist, right? God's like, look over your life. You're worried about this one thing, but look at the million other things that you were worried about, and it turned out you had nothing to be worried about. So it's almost like if you really look over your life and see all those things you were fearful over, if you look at that, you're like, wow, if I had faith, I would have been stressing a little less. If I had faith, I wouldn't have been as anxious, or if I had faith, I could have just been happy, and I feel obviously fear removes happiness. Like if you're fearful, you're not happy because you're always worried about something that's going to come, right? So I just want to say to you all today, anybody watching this video, I want you to start choosing faith over fear. Faith over fear. Because y'all, when I decided to walk this faith walk last year and everything, it was not easy at first. Like, I'll have days where my faith is great, and then I have days where I'm like, ooh, this situation just popped up. God, I know you helped me with a million other things, but this one thing, and then gotta do it. So I'm saying this to say to y'all, like, in this season, within these past 3 months of 2021, my faith has grown to a certain extent where I'm like, I'm just not worrying no more. Like, at all. Like, no, I'm not doing it because it's insanity at this point. I've literally lived my entire life and God has saved me from every situation that I thought would be the death of me or the end of me, And so I want to give you guys this encouragement to have faith over fear, okay? Like it's a beautiful feeling to wake up with such a peace and a joy. You could have a bill collector calling you. You could have an ex trying to contact you. You could have a toxic parent. Whatever the situation is, and all those situations apply to me too. I'm talking about myself too. Um, but you just have this peace, a peace that surpasses all understanding. So I love you guys, and I hope this was an encouraging word for someone in relation to having faith over fear.